it's not the worst being Krillin.
It's
That's
true.
all I'm saying. It's
He
not
has
the
a good
worst.
life.
Yeah.
He may not be a strong fighter anymore. He may not be relevant as a fighter, but he has an amazing life and he has
Yeah,
a
he's
good
a
job that
happy
he's good
guy.
at.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
happy guy.
Like he barely even gets depressed when Goku when he finds out the level or the gap. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
Goku's way stronger than me. Oh, I have an android wife and daughter.
Somehow I have a daughter. I don't really get it.
He left us this whole series.
Anyways, guys, hi. Welcome back. This is Joe. I'm Ricky. Joe, I'ma kill you. The point is, we're talking about Jace this time around in legendary lore. And when we last left off, Rurik Thar had just challenged Jace to a battle. Not of wits, of course, but of muscle and sinew. Now, Joe, do you remember Rurik Thar's card?
Yes.
What was one of the big things about it?
It hurt anybody who is not using creatures.
Yes. The reason is because Rurik Thar has a special ability that basically prevented people from doing any magical spells. If they tried to hit him with something, it would basically just he'd lash out and hurt them. So Rurik Thar is hitting people who try to cast spells, basically.
So he had something that was stronger than hexproof, basically.
Yeah. But Jace...
Like hexproof, oh, I can't target him. Hexproof...
Jace is a flimsy boy. He's a flimsy boy.
Flimsy boy.
Flimsy boy. So when Jace goes up against this hulking beast of a monster, he has no chance. And he's doing everything he can to survive. And he needs that information from Rurik Thar. And so while this is happening, Jace is doing everything he can to survive, basically, like I said. And he realizes that the people that are watching the tribesmen that are seeing Jace struggle start to empathize with Jace because Jace can't use magic and they can't use magic. And so all of them are thinking about how they would fight Rurik Thar in that situation if they had that kind of... You know how it is when you're watching a game and you're like, okay, if I were playing that deck, I would do this or I would do that instead. And you're watching that person make those mistakes or whatever, right? Or you're standing over the table and
so he's reading their thoughts of basically how to do the battle better. I thought you were going to be just he takes their emotions, channels it into this giant bomb, and throws it at Rurik Thar.
No.
Share your thoughts with me.
Share your thoughts. Give me your thoughts. So basically, thoughts and prayers. So what happens is that Jace kind of just starts miming everything that those people are thinking of and is able to defeat Rurik Thar. He actually, not necessarily, he doesn't beat him exactly, but he's able to prove himself, basically. And I guess you could say he beat him. The point is, Rurik Thar's okay, go ahead and rifle through my brains and you can get the information you're looking for. And so while he's doing that, he gets what he wants and he goes. But at the same time, Exava is leading an entire charge of an army, basically. And the Gruul show up and they're like, no, you can't have him because he was doing nice things for us, right?
No.
They like Jace because they were able to get that connection with him, right?
Basically like a mama bear kind of thing with him now.
Yeah. So now you have the Rakdos and you have the Gruul. While this is happening, the Gruul hold off the Rakdos, then they disperse once Jace gets away. The Rakdos keep going. They run into the Selesnians, who have a huge army, because it turns out the Kalamir was Lazav, the blue-black Demir Guildmaster.
Lazav's a robot?
Lazav is a shapeshifter, you goon. So basically...
But wait, how is Kalamir a robot and Lazav is not a robot if Lazav is Kalamir?
So what happens is that there's this huge war breaking out because the guilds don't have anything magical to stop them from dunking on each other. And so while this is happening...
It'd be a robot shapeshifter.
Jace...
I guess that would be kind of easier. He would just modify his parts.
So Jace...
Metal does do that in this universe too.
Then creates a giant illusion of Rakdos. All the cultists are like, oh snap, it's the big man himself. And Exava's like, it's obviously an illusion, but he looks good. And so they leave, but they take Jace with them. And so Ixava's going to torture Jace. And then Lazav shows up and he's like, Calamir. And he's like, I am Lazav. And he whisks Jace away into the Undercity to then torture him himself with Merkel Vosk's help. And Merkel Vosk is then going to like pry out all the secrets of the maze he needs. While that's happening, Jace is trying to give that information to Amara. And so now everyone is basically starting to get what they need out of it, right?
And this is how we're establishing the Maze Runners.
Yes. But
and this is why they didn't come out with their movie until like late 2014.
Jace is Jace. So what does Jace do when the going gets tough?
Okay, so Jace runs away again.
Yes, Jace ran away to Zendikar. And he's
Zendikar,
out in
Zendikar
Zendikar.
the
And
first time.
he's like, I'm so glad I got away from all that. And he's thinking, I think I'm going to stay here because I don't want to deal with any of that. There's nobody here. I have no obligations. I haven't done
This
anything.
the first time he went to Zendikar or the second?
The second time. And he's
So
like,
there's already big hulking beasts running around.
so he's like, I didn't do anything on this plane to make people expect anything
Because
from
he
me."
lost his memories from the past 6 months.
And so he's there and he meets a core family and they're trying to survive. And they're struggling because they're on Zendikar. And he's like, I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to go back to the past. Samurai Jace. So what happens is he goes back and he gets to the Forum of Azor. That's where he knows that's the end. He hasn't gotten there. He's going to help Amara get to the end. And he knows that it's going to be at the Forum of Azor. He's figured out everything. He knows it starts off at the Transguild Promenade and it ends at the Forum of Azor. Azor being the planeswalker who created the original Guildpact, right? And so he goes there and he like rushes to the Forum before everybody else. He's not like part of the maze. He just wants to get there and see if he can figure out what the end point and all that stuff's going to work out like, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's there and he goes, knock, knock. It opens up. He's like, oh, cool, I'm in. And he goes in and there's just like the spirit guardian thing. And he's like, what are you? And he goes, I am the bailiff. I am the
What's
being...
this?
The what?
What's this? What's this?
The bailiff then tells him that if they don't get a new guild pact that is deemed worthy, the Azor will have the bailiff deliver the supreme verdict. Yeah. And he's like, okay, well, what's the supreme verdict? And like, he's done. So then Jace goes and he like basically meets Asperia and Lazav. Lavinia's there. They're all talking about the supreme verdict. And the supreme verdict is basically going to obliterate the entirety of Ravnica. And while this is all happening, everyone already knows. Niv Mizzet, he sent out like this whole like beacon kind of deal and was like, hey everybody, this is the implicit maze. You're all gonna have to go to Transguild Promenade, one member of each guild, one runner. You're all gonna have to do it because it won't work if everyone isn't in the run together. That makes sense? That was basically what he was trying to do, trying to get across to people.
Kinda.
What?
Kinda.
Okay, so everyone's there. You got all the different maze runners of their various different bits and bobs, and they all have their own things they're supposed to like specifically do, right?
Okay, so basically to get a worthy guild pact, they had to do the thing to get the guild pact properly, which was going through the maze with one of each guild.
That is the starting thing. That's as far as they know.
Okay.
Immediately while they're there, the Azet specifically created a guy, Malek, I think was his name, an elemental.
Uh-huh.
That guy was supposed to be their runner. He was ready. He was bred basically for this particular thing. And Ral this whole time has been like, he wants the glory. He wants all of the glory. He wants to win. He wants to become the master of Ravnica.
Everybody wants to be the master.
He kills Malek.
Everybody wants to show their skills.
He kills Malek.
It's because he wants to get there faster.
And he wants to get to the top of the hill. He says he's going to be the runner. And you have Amara, you got Teysa, You got everyone else I've mentioned already that are just kind of bit characters. Whatever, the blue-green guy, that doesn't really matter because he only shows up like in a scene, because who cares about blue-green? All that stuff happens. The thing starts at the Transguild Promenade. Everybody starts fighting each other immediately, and then
Borrow the whole clod.
yeah, Voral, that's right. So from the Transguild Promenade, they have to make their way to the Selesnya Guild Gate. Go through the Guild Gate, go to the Golgari Guild Gate, then Azorius, then Demir, then Gruul, followed by Boros, Orzhov, Simic, Izzet, and finally the Rakdos Guild Gate. Once they've done that, they can get to the Maze's End, and they will you'll find out who wins. But things don't go quite well enough. You got Teysa fighting a bunch of people. She has her envoys like starting to like slow people down, and then Jace turns it all around on her. Everyone is just, it's a bad time all around. And eventually they get to the Izzet Guild Gate, the penultimate Guild Gate. And there Ralzarek is waiting. He was able to get through all the other gates, all the other like wacky racers, they failed. And it's basically just like, it's Jace, Amara, okay? Make sense? I just shaved about 5 minutes of explaining the route everybody else took. Ralzarek gets in a huge fight with Jace, and he intends to kill Jace. Like, he's just going to end him. Fortunately, Jace is able to avoid all the electricity and death and destruction by using illusions, and he gets away. And when he gets to the Forum of Azor, all the Maze Runners are somehow there. Literally every Maze Runner is at the Forum. They're at the Maze's End. And they're fighting. And obviously this was not the intent. The bailiff shows up, and he's looking, and he's like, you know what? Here's the supreme verdict. I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to use it. All that has to happen is that one of you will say, do it. If you say to do it, the supreme verdict is activated, the entire place blows up. That's all you got to do. You'll have all the power. Now, obviously, this is really nice, and everybody loves this idea, right? Well, Jace is like, hold on, I have an idea. I have an idea. And he links all 10 minds together. And so they're all able to see what's going on in each other's heads. They're able to see each other's perspective. He unites the 10 guilds in that moment. He, of course, loses his entire mind in the process because he's trying to basically connect all these 10 minds together. It's a huge undertaking. And so what happens is that the bailiff basically connects with Jace and is able to like be like a supplementary power source, and Jace is able to keep his mind intact. But because he did what he did, because he could understand the perspective of each and every guild, because he could see into their minds and see from their eyes, Jace becomes the living Guildpact. And he does not do the supreme verdict. And then Amara's like, hey. And he's like, yay! And she says that she wants him to erase her memories. Because she was told of other worlds and planeswalkers when Jace was trying to tell her about the maze. Because he had to leave, he had to disappear. And so she's like, I need to not know that. Because I am a Selesnya, and Selesnyans have no secrets. And I cannot tell that to the rest of the Tristani and of everybody else, because if I tell that to them, they're going to lose their minds. Because it's too big. It's tearing me apart. I can't hold on to that knowledge. And so Jace wipes her memories of it. And he does it. So while he's the living Guildpact, Jace comes in contact with Vraska for the first time. And should I... I'll just mention this real quick. Jace comes in contact with Vraska. Vraska basically had turned a lot of people to stone and spelled out his name, I think, if I'm not mistaken. She did a Deadpool. And she fights him, and Jace is able to stop her. And Vraska's trying to tell him, look, something is big is going to happen, and you're not equipped to take care of this. We need someone better than you.
Bolas at this point?
No, she does not. She does not know about Bolas, but she does know that Jace is a planeswalker and is not native to Ravnica and is not equipped because he does not belong there. He can just leave. He has no connection. Vraska, it's her home, and she knows the people there and she cares for her people. So that's really like the main thing, is like she just doesn't believe he's right. That's a bit more altruistic. She was more of a like straight villain when they were playing her in this at this point. That's kind of retroactive on my part. So the more positive aspects of it, but
More
Jace then
positive
leaves.
aspects comes from like her actions then, but interpreting them to later.
Exactly. And so we're just going to end it with me saying that Jace then realizes that there's something wrong with Garruk. Because I think that's what she was telling him about, was Garruk. Something had happened to him. He had been cursed by something.
If that was the case, I wish Garuk's story had been bigger.
Yeah.
Like they get
Garruk's story,
a bunch of murders,
yeah.
but the resolution was nothing.
Garruk's story is pretty much just going to be a real quick blurb, followed very quickly by a little reminder about Nimazet and Ralzarek, and then we're getting to Battle for Zendikar.
Fun.
Yeah. Take it away.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to go ahead and see you guys next time with some more League of Lore-led League of Smite. So we're going to go ahead and catch you guys next time.
I'm done. It's over. The channel's ruined.
Would it have been better if I said Overwatch?